Designed with gamers in mind, designed with activists in mind. If Ghost of Yotei made Atsu look like this, the game would have sold 1 million copies by now. Well, Ghost of Yotei is a stunningly beautiful game with a hideous protagonist. Do you agree? Designed with activists in mind, designed with I don't know how this one got in there. But now that I think about it, Ghost of Yotei. Ghost of Yotei is the successor to a wildly popular PlayStation exclusive, Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is widely regarded as one of the best PlayStation exclusives and one of the best games ever. So when the sequel, Ghost of Yotei, was announced, people were understandably excited, myself included. But as more details of the game got revealed, some people were clearly not excited about one particular feature. This feature, of course, being the protagonist. Ghost of Tsushima followed the story of Jin Sakai, a male samurai, whereas Ghost of Yotei follows the story of Atsu, a revenge story following a female samurai. Now, why is this such a big issue, you might wonder? To be honest, I don't really know. As someone who's about 20 to 25 hours into the game, I can confidently say that I really enjoy the story and I really enjoy Atsu's character design. To me, it's very clear that people wrote off this game just seeing a female protagonist, especially one who isn't conventionally pretty. Not even that Atsu is ugly, just that she doesn't have a 10 out of 10 face and very, very big boobs. To me, this point is ridiculous, because you're not playing this game for some eye candy to look at. You're playing for an incredibly fleshed out and written story, just like Ghost of Tsushima was. People didn't have an issue with that story because, well, the protagonist was Jin, a male. Whereas this game has Atsu, so people want it to instantly be someone who is incredibly attractive. And honestly, as someone who obviously disagrees with this point of view, one of my biggest issues with this is that people will hate on Ghost of Yotei because the protagonist is female, but they won't explicitly say it. And they're too afraid to admit that this is the actual problem with it. And not only that, they also, for some reason, started attacking the voice actor because she's non-binary and going after her political beliefs, when we know if the roles were reversed, they would just be hypocritical. Of course, most of the hate coming from this game is from Twitter trolls, faceless people who are too afraid to put themselves on the internet while saying it. However, this does extend to people as big as Asmongold, a very, very popular streamer. When he's too busy deciding if he wants to keep leaving his room dirty or if it's that time of the year to finally take a shower.
I took a shower for the first time in, as I said, two and a half months yesterday. Yeah, you're doing it right. The old God Warriors didn't have a shower and shampoo. Well, I didn't really use any soap, okay? I'm not going to do any of that bullshit. But I at least got all that stuff off myself.
Yeah, I wasn't exaggerating. Mind you, this is the same guy who raised $300,000, almost $400,000, just by taking a shower. While I appreciate that the work was for charity, the fact that you taking a shower is that big of an event, that has to be eye-opening. He's busy hating on this game for the same reasons as everyone else on the internet. Yet, when he tries to play the game, this is the result.
Oh. Well, I didn't know you had to cut the flying bamboo. You didn't give me... Wait, I have to do this? Oh, shit! Well, I don't know what... You hit the wrong button, but you didn't say what the right button was.
Yeah. Look, let's just stick to our lanes. I don't know if the lack of showers was causing some dirt in his eye or something, but he couldn't even see the 2 circles there. But if a bamboo strike is this hard for you, maybe it's just time to close the game. Mind you, it took him 3 minutes to complete that bamboo strike. 7 buttons and another 2 buttons after that. It took him 3 minutes to finish this. And you think that's the worst part? Yet this is him trying to play the shamisen.
Okay, did I do it? It's flashing. I thought I did it, right? No? It's got to be it, right? I mean,
Mind you, if you think that that clip was too long, just keep in mind that that went on for 6 minutes. It took him 6 minutes to get through that. And he didn't figure it out. He did it by accident. These are the people who are formulating opinions on the game. These are the people who are providing criticisms for the game. People further tried to criticize the game by saying that it had tanking sales. They constantly tried to bring up an article talking about it, yet this article was talking about physical sales, whereas a lot of the game sales were digital. So bringing this point up was just another talking point used to attack the game, which wasn't relevant at all. Mind you, these weren't even physical sales in the world. This was the physical sales in the UK. People were boasting about this being 40% less than the physical sales of Ghost of Tsushima. For some reason, this point seemed relevant. A popular commentary YouTuber with 100,000 subscribers, she mentioned this in her title, but didn't really refer to it in the video. Instead, just kept blaming it on the same reasons we've all heard, that the game is too woke, and it's just the same old stuff that we've heard a million times. And when you take a look in her comments, you can see the sort of community it's promoting. You can see the sort of community that it's boosting. I'm not saying that she's affiliated with them in any way, but when this is the product in the comments of your own video, you need to take note of it. There's also this comment which is just blatantly spreading misinformation. I've seen this narrative many times. People will refuse to play the game for themselves but spread a false narrative about the ending where this is nothing to do with the ending. But that just goes to show how these sort of people think. But honestly, this trend isn't anything new with the gaming community, and it isn't limited to just women. All you have to do is just take a look back a few months to about a year. Assassin's Creed, which is one of the most popular franchises of all time, released a game recently called Assassin's Creed Shadows. It followed the folk tale of Yotei, which did not receive a lot of good criticism. As it sits right now, if you look the game up on Google, it says only 45% of the people who played this game enjoyed it, which isn't a particularly flattering review. However, I would believe that a lot of the people who dislike this game did not even play it. So you must be thinking, well, the gameplay must not be great, the story might not be well written, but unfortunately, it goes a little bit deeper than that. The story follows Yasuke, a commonly well-known story of the first Black Samurai. However, the fans were not too enthusiastic about this story. People tried to claim that it was because the story was not historically accurate, whereas if you look at any of the other Assassin's Creed games, none of them have ever been completely historically accurate. Although previous Assassin's Creeds have been pretty well written and feel pretty immersive, so people don't really recognize the historical inaccuracies, none of them have been super historically accurate. Take Valhalla for example. A lot of the combat in that game is not very historically accurate at all. And last I recall, I don't think that Roman soldiers were putting themselves into the body of birds to help find other quests. However, people really had an issue with this game. Is it because it's historically inaccurate? I don't think so. I think the real glaring issue that people really didn't want to talk about was the fact that the protagonist was black in a Japanese setting. It's not like this is a recent issue either. Issues like this can be tracked back to the beginning of gaming, when the old CODs were around. There's the whole joke about you wouldn't survive a day in a COD lobby, but the realistic truth is that COD lobbies back in the day were not great to be in, regardless of who you are, but especially if you were a woman. For some reason, people wear this as a badge of honor that they were around in those lobbies and that new generations wouldn't survive in it. Whereas to me, it doesn't really seem like a badge of honor as much as a description of who they are as a person.
How we doing?
Shut up! I bet you tell me. What's the weight size? What are you? You're an 8? You're a 10? What are you?
Nope, smaller. What are you though?
Not an 8 or a 10, you fat. Go back to the kitchen, you stupid woman. Make me a sandwich.
Anything else?
Shut the fuck up.
Is that all you know?
Shut up. You big. I bet you got a little muffin top, don't you?
This isn't even an example of the old lobbies. This is a fairly newer Call of Duty, and this is still the things that are being said. But that's neither here nor there. To tie it back to the main point, I don't think I'll ever understand why people will ever write off a game because the protagonist is a woman, or the protagonist is black, or there's some sort of LGBTQ feature in a game. However, that's just how it is. I know the title of this video will go something like the problem with Ghost of Yotei or the Ghost of Yotei problem, but the truth of the matter is it's actually a gaming problem, and it always has been a gaming problem. As someone who plays a lot of games and plays a lot of online games, it's something I've noticed for a long time. It's no wonder why women are so publicly afraid to play games, especially when someone who isn't even online, who's just an NPC of a character like Atsu, is getting attacked just for being written. And it really is sad, because if you just gave the game a chance and just played it with an open mind, you'd understand that the story is incredibly well written, the gameplay is really fun, and there's not a lot to hate on. But that's my opinion and that's my take on the situation. I do want to know you guys' thoughts, so please let me know in the comments. As well, if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you liked it as well. I'll see you guys soon.